Okay, so this particular template is from the travel category, and once again you should make a copy of this template before you start working on it. Okay, don't work on the original because you don't want to lose it. Now what I've done is I've basically selected this image by control clicking it, so I know this is the image, and let's see if we can actually replace this image. And the theme we're gonna have is something like explore Costa Rica or something like that. So we'll do an ebook on Costa Rica. Now what I did was I actually created a layer, and the way I did that was, let me just delete this layer so I can show you. Basically I want to replace this layer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer on top by clicking this icon, and then I am going to hide this layer. You don't have to hide it actually, because once we put an image in here this will be hidden, but anyway, let's just hide this layer. Make sure that the empty layer is still selected, and now we'll go to our images, and let's say we take this image here. This looks pretty decent, I would say, right? So we'll take this image, we'll drag it into our Photoshop, Control A to select all, Control C to copy. Now we don't need this, so we'll close it down, and then making sure that our new layer is selected, we'll go Control V to basically paste in that layer. And now, I mean, as it is, it looks pretty decent. We can always, kind of move it around and see what kind of works best. I would say that this, let's see if there's any foliage here where you can do this. Now this doesn't look too bad. I think this looks, I would say that this looks pretty decent, I would say, right? It's not too bad, and we just need to stretch it out a little bit at the bottom. So we'll go Control T to do a free transform, just make it a little bit smaller so we can see, and then we'll just stretch it a little bit, press the enter key, and there you have it, completely changed. Now what we can do is something really cool. Okay, over here what we have is we have this little gap showing, which I personally don't like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to control click this layer, and then with my arrows I'm just going to shift it up a little bit, and then I'm going to do the same with the text as well. So highlight the layer, and then with the arrow keys just bump it up a little bit so that doesn't look too bad. And what I want to do is I want to get rid of these lines at the top, so I'll control click this image, then I'll pick my eraser tool, okay, and I have an opacity of 45, so I'm going to bump that up to 100. Flow is at 50, so I'm going to bump that up to 102. And to make my eraser a little bit smaller, I'm going to press the left bracket key just a little bit, and now I'm just going to basically erase this like this. Okay, so it's not too bad. It's not like it's completely, like a complete line there, but this doesn't look too bad actually. Now there are many ways of doing this. The other way you can actually do this is you can take the marquee tool, and then you can basically clip this area, make sure that our image layer is selected, and then we can press the delete key and Control D to deselect. So we can do that as well. Okay, so that's another way. And what we're going to do here is we are going to put a little image in here. I think that might look quite nice. So we'll put a new layer above this layer, and then with the marquee tool, let's create a little square by keeping the shift key pressed, and just making one small marquee here. So we'll push this down here like that, and then we need an image to go in there. So we'll pick an image. Let's say we pick this image here. So we'll bring that to Photoshop, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go edit and then paste into. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to position that thing inside. So Control T to transform. As you can see, it's a fairly big image, so I'm going to make this small, and then with the Shift key pressed, I'm going to actually try and get this image as close as I can over here. And now I'm going to make this a little bit larger so I can work with this canvas a little bit better, and I'm just going to kind of try to get this in here. Now this doesn't look too bad, so at this point I'm going to press the Enter key to accept the edits, and what I can do is I can actually make this stand out a little bit by putting a nice little border around it. So we'll double click this layer, and then we'll go stroke. Okay, so it puts a little red stroke, but what we want is a little white stroke. So we'll click that, and now we have a little white stroke around, and we can even, you know, make this a little bit bigger, like 5 pixels, and then click OK. Alright, so that's a little image, and then we can add some more images here if you want. The other thing is that this title over here doesn't really stand out, so we'll control click on the title, and then we'll go into options, okay, the layer style, and then what we're going to do is we're going to stroke this, and we're going to pick a white color, right, and maybe we'll make it like 5 pixels, so it gives you a nice contrast here. So now this title stands out, and while we're here, why don't we change it to no, hang on, I'm gonna say Explore Costa Rica, something like that, Explore Costa Rica. And then over here we have this whole thing which is in black, so we're going to change this to white text. So we double click this text, and then we go up to this text color, and then we're going to choose white. And now what we have here is we have some other text here, take control, right? We have this take control. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that down here, take control, and there you have it. So here is another way you can kind of take a template, think a little bit outside the box. You can put these little images in here and you can make it your own. But here's the original, just, you know, just start travel, and he's got some text here, and we'll do the same thing, but you know, we'll put our new title, put a different image here, and you know, you can make it look extremely different. Now if we don't like this image, we can basically hide it, put a new layer, and let's try another image. Let's see if this one would work. Okay, that might look better, don't know. Control A, Control C, and then Control V over here, and what we'll do is we'll bring this, oops, Control Z, Control click to select, and then we'll bring this down here, right? Or we can bring this right the way up here like this, and what we can do is this one here, take control or whatever, this thing will bring this whole thing down, and we'll change the text to black, okay, and we'll control click this one and we'll hide that, we don't need that, and what we'll do is we need these, so control, yep, these are the little tick marks. Okay, and then we are going to select this layer again, and then we're going to go Control T to transform, and let's bring it down a little bit, like let's stretch it and see how that looks. So there you go. See, that doesn't look too bad actually. That looks pretty decent, I would say. Explore Costa Rica, take control. Now there's another technique you can use here for this text, is right now you can't see it, so we'll turn it white and then you can see it. And the other thing you can probably do is make it black, but then you can double click and then we'll stroke it with a white stroke. So you can do something like that. And if we say view actual pixels and then we go down here, you can see that the text itself looks pretty decent, I would say, right? So there you have it. Let me just go view and then say fit to screen. So here is our new template, and here was our original template. So you know, play around with it. Of course you can do anything you want. You can even, you know, control click this, and then in the layers we can increase the drop shadow to say, you know, we can make it a little bit more spready like this, and we can make the opacity a little bit better so it kind of pops out. So as you can see, there's lots and lots of things you can do with this template. I would suggest that you kind of play around with it, you know, make it your own. The elements are all there, you just have to kind of play around, you know, change things up, and you'll end up with an original, really nice looking ebook cover. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.